Many people believe that when actors are on screen, they are exactly like the characters they play. Audiences watch a movie and feel like they truly know the person in front of them. But real life is often very different from what appears on screen. The life of Kiefer Sutherland is a strong example of this difference. He was born into fame and success. His father was a legendary actor, and his grandfather was a powerful political figure who helped change Canada's healthcare system. From the outside, it looked like Kiefer had everything. Yet throughout his life, he struggled with personal problems, public scandals, broken relationships, and repeated arrests. For more than 3 decades, his name appeared in headlines for reasons that had nothing to do with acting. This raises an important question: what causes someone who seems to have everything to keep losing control? Kiefer Sutherland was born on December 21, 1966, at St. Mary's Hospital in Paddington, London. Fame surrounded him from the very beginning. His father, Donald Sutherland, was already a respected and successful actor. His mother, Shirley Douglas, was also an actress and the daughter of Tommy Douglas, a famous Canadian politician. Tommy Douglas introduced universal healthcare in Saskatchewan in 1947, charging only $5 per year for hospital care. Later, he helped create the Medicare system that spread across Canada. Because of this, he became one of the most respected political leaders in Canadian history. Kiefer was born into a family known not only for talent but also for influence in public service. Expectations were naturally high. Kiefer did not grow up alone. He has a twin sister named Rachel. While Kiefer chose to act in front of the camera, Rachel decided to work behind the scenes in film production. She built a steady career in post-production and worked on projects such as The Kennedys and Harriet the Spy. Although they worked in the same industry, they chose very different paths. This difference showed how two people from the same family could grow in separate directions while still sharing a creative connection. When Kiefer was very young, his life was already affected by serious events. In 1969, when he was only 3 years old, his mother was arrested in Los Angeles. She was accused of trying to buy explosives for the Black Panthers. The FBI raided her home with dozens of armed officers. She spent 5 days in jail before the case was dismissed in court. Although she was cleared, the situation damaged her career in the United States. Her work permit was revoked, and the government continued to watch her for years. Kiefer was too young to understand what was happening, but this political tension and instability were part of his early environment. In 1970, his parents divorced. This changed his life again. Kiefer and his sister went to live with their mother. They moved several times, eventually settling in Toronto, Canada. Life there was very different from Hollywood. His father remained in Los Angeles, building his career, while Kiefer grew up mostly with his mother. He only saw his father during holidays or summers. Later, Kiefer admitted that he did not fully understand how famous his father was until he was a teenager watching his movies. The distance between them shaped Kiefer's personality. He developed independence, but also a quiet desire to prove himself. Growing up in Toronto was not glamorous. Even though he carried a famous last name, his daily life was modest. His mother worked hard to support him and his sister. He changed schools many times, which made it difficult to build lasting friendships. He attended schools such as Crescent Town Elementary, St. Clair Junior High, and John G. Althouse Middle School. Moving often taught him to adapt quickly, but it also meant he rarely felt settled. He heard stories about his grandfather's political achievements, yet he also experienced financial struggles at home. This contrast influenced him deeply. By the age of 15, Kiefer felt strongly drawn to acting. He decided to leave school and focus completely on building a career. It was a risky choice, but it soon began to pay off. In 1983, he appeared in the film Max Dugan Returns, which was one of the rare times he acted alongside his father. He was just 16 years old, learning directly from experience. In 1984, he starred in Bay Boy, a performance that earned him a Genie Award nomination. At only 18, he was already gaining recognition. What once seemed like a reckless decision now looked like the beginning of a serious career. His early experiences gave emotional depth to his performances. The feelings of distance from his father, the pressure of his family name, and the constant movement during childhood created a strong emotional energy within him. This intensity became visible in his roles. In Stand By Me, released in 1986, he played the tough and dangerous Ace Merrill. Even though he was only 17 during filming, he brought a sharp, unforgettable presence to the screen. In The Lost Boys in 1987, he played David, a vampire leader who spoke little but commanded attention through silence and body language. Directors praised him for expressing so much without many words. In 1988, he appeared in Young Guns as Doc Scurlock, acting alongside other rising stars. His career was clearly moving upward. In 1990, Kiefer met Julia Roberts on the set of Flatliners. At the time, Julia was becoming one of the biggest stars in the world after the success of Pretty Woman. Kiefer was still legally married, though his divorce was finalized in early 1990. Soon after, he and Julia began a public relationship. They attended the Academy Awards together, and the media quickly became fascinated with them. Both were young, attractive, and successful. Their wedding was planned for June 14, 1991, and was expected to be one of Hollywood's biggest events. However, the situation changed dramatically when a British newspaper published a story claiming that Kiefer had an affair with a stripper named Amanda Rice. She stated that he had complained about Julia and described their relationship as difficult. Kiefer denied the affair but admitted he knew the woman and had given her money. The media attention became overwhelming. Julia fell ill during this period, and the pressure grew stronger every day. Only 3 days before the wedding, Julia canceled it. The news shocked Hollywood. Then, on the day the wedding was supposed to happen, Julia was seen in Ireland with Jason Patric, who was not only an actor but also Kiefer's close friend. Their relationship lasted about a year. The situation became one of the biggest love scandals of the early 1990s. Both Julia and Kiefer later gave slightly different explanations about who ended the relationship. Years later, Kiefer admitted he was heartbroken but also said that Julia had the courage to walk away from something that was not right. While his romantic life attracted headlines, another pattern was developing. In December 1989, he was arrested for driving under the influence in Hollywood. Police also found a loaded gun in his car. He avoided prison by accepting a plea deal for reckless driving related to alcohol. In 1993, he was arrested again for DUI. He chose to complete 211 hours of community service instead of serving jail time. In 2004, another DUI arrest led to 5 years of probation, community service, and mandatory alcohol treatment. The situation became more serious in 2007 when he was arrested again while still on probation. His blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit. This time, he was sentenced to 48 days in jail and served over 40 days. He also paid a fine and entered an 18-month alcohol education program. Many people believed this experience would mark a turning point. For 13 years, there were no major incidents. It seemed he had regained control. However, in January 2020, he was arrested once more for driving under the influence after making an illegal U-turn and failing a sobriety test. He was released on bail and faced court again. The arrest disappointed fans who believed he had left that chapter behind. Despite these personal struggles, his professional career reached incredible heights. In 2006, he signed a contract worth $40 million for 3 seasons of the television series 24. His role as Jack Bauer made him one of the highest-paid actors on television. The show was a massive success, and his performance earned critical praise and awards. On screen, he played a determined hero who always stayed in control under extreme pressure. Off-screen, his life was far more complicated. Kiefer Sutherland's story shows that fame and success do not protect someone from personal battles. He grew up with great expectations, experienced emotional distance in childhood, achieved early success, and faced repeated public mistakes. His life reminds us that actors are not the characters they portray. Behind every performance is a real person dealing with private struggles, family history, pressure, and personal choices. Even someone who appears to have everything can still fight difficult battles within themselves. His salary for the show 24 came out to about $555,000 per episode, which placed him at the very top of television actors at that time. The contract was not just about money. It also gave him the title of executive producer and allowed him to run his own production company on the Fox studio lot. This meant he was no longer just an actor reading lines. He now had creative control and the power to help shape stories for television and even online platforms. At that time, very few actors had that level of influence. The show 24 itself became a worldwide success. After it first aired in 2001, more than 100 million viewers watched it across the globe. During its run, the series won 20 Emmy Awards. Kiefer won the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series in 2006. He also won a Golden Globe in 2002 and Screen Actors Guild Awards in 2004 and 2006. In addition, he was nominated for the Golden Globe for Best Actor 4 years in a row from 2002 to 2005. The show's real-time format, where each episode covered 1 hour of a single day, kept audiences completely hooked. Viewers waited each week to see how Jack Bauer would survive another dangerous and impossible situation. However, the success of 24 also brought controversy. The show often included intense torture scenes, and these scenes began to attract serious attention from the United States military. In November 2006, Brigadier General Patrick Finnegan, who was the Dean of West Point, traveled to Los Angeles with 2 experienced military interrogators. He met with the producers of the show and explained that some young soldiers believed the interrogation methods shown on television were realistic and acceptable. He warned that the violent scenes were influencing recruits in harmful ways. He asked the producers to reconsider how torture was being portrayed because it was creating confusion in training environments. This issue became part of a larger national debate about how entertainment can influence real-life behavior. Kiefer responded strongly. He said it was ridiculous to blame a fictional television series for the actions of the military. He argued that if a TV show could truly damage the behavior of trained soldiers, then the problem was much bigger than one drama series. The discussion only made 24 even more talked about in the media and in political conversations. On May 5, 2009, another incident pushed Kiefer back into headlines. The Met Gala after-party at a club called Submercer in New York City was full of celebrities, designers, and famous guests. It was supposed to be another glamorous night. During the evening, fashion designer Jack Bauer of Proenza Schiller accidentally bumped into actress Brooke Shields. According to Brooke's side, it was a simple accident with no argument or harm. But Kiefer reacted differently. For reasons that many people still do not fully understand, he stepped forward and headbutted the designer. Witnesses said the designer was shocked and bleeding. In the confusion, Kiefer left the scene. Photos and reports quickly spread through tabloids and online media. Many people were surprised because they believed they knew him as calm and professional. The situation was serious because Kiefer was already on probation from his 2007 DUI conviction. His probation clearly required him to obey all laws. Just 2 days later, on May 7, he turned himself in at a New York police station. He was charged with third-degree misdemeanor assault. The court date was set, and because of his past record, the situation looked dangerous for him. His previous arrests included a DUI in 1989 involving a concealed weapon, another DUI in 1993, and the 2007 DUI that resulted in nearly 2 months in jail. This new case added pressure to an already troubled history. Behind the scenes, his legal team worked quickly. On May 21, just over 2 weeks later, Kiefer and the designer reached an agreement. Kiefer apologized and expressed regret for the injury. The designer accepted the apology and said he wished him well. They released a joint statement saying the matter had been resolved. In July 2009, prosecutors officially dropped the charges because the designer no longer wanted to continue the case. Although he avoided jail time, the story remained part of his public image and reminded everyone how quickly one emotional reaction can create lasting damage. Long before that night, his personal relationships had already shaped much of his adult life. In 1987, at only 20 years old, he married Camelia Kath, who was 14 years older than him. She had previously been married to Chicago guitarist Terry Kath and had a daughter named Michelle. In 1988, Kiefer and Camelia had a daughter together named Sarah. Their marriage included love but also challenges caused by the age difference and their different life experiences. After 3 years, they filed for divorce in 1990. Even after the separation, Kiefer remained close to his daughter Sarah, who later became an actress herself. Soon after his divorce, he began his famous relationship with Julia Roberts. Their planned wedding in June 1991 was expected to be one of Hollywood's biggest events. However, only days before the ceremony, Julia ended the relationship. Kiefer later revealed that he heard about the cancellation through a mutual friend rather than directly from her, which made the situation more painful. The media attention made the breakup even harder. Later in life, he spoke kindly about Julia and said she had been brave to stop a wedding that had grown too large and overwhelming for two young people. In 1996, he married Kelly Wynn. This relationship stayed much more private than his earlier ones. They separated in 1999 but did not officially file for divorce until 2004. The divorce was finalized in 2008. They had no children together. The long separation period was unusual for Hollywood, where relationships often end quickly and publicly. In this case, the ending was quiet and slow. Over time, Kiefer became more open about his past. In 2016, he spoke again about the canceled wedding with Julia Roberts. He explained that the intense media attention had made everything feel impossible. He no longer sounded angry. Instead, he spoke with understanding and maturity. He admitted that both of them had been young and overwhelmed by fame. Eventually, he found a calmer relationship with actress and model Cindy Vela. They began dating around 2014 and kept their relationship very private. By 2017, they appeared together publicly, but they rarely discussed details. Some rumors suggested they were engaged or married, but Kiefer never confirmed this. They lived together in Toluca Lake, California, and also spent time in Kingston, New York. Their relationship seemed to represent a quieter and more stable chapter in his life. Around this time, another unexpected part of his career began to grow. In early 2015, he showed 2 songs he had written to producer Jude Cole. Cole believed Kiefer should record his own music instead of giving the songs to other artists. On March 28, 2016, his first single, Not Enough Whiskey, was featured in Rolling Stone magazine. Later that year, his debut album Down in a Hole was released. The album included 11 songs that felt personal and honest. It reached number 18 on the Americana and folk music chart. Critics praised the sincerity in his voice. He began touring across the United States and Canada in April 2016. Audiences who knew him as an intense television actor now saw a different side of him, one that was emotional and vulnerable. He performed at the ACM Awards and later on Jimmy Kimmel Live. On May 31, 2016, he performed at the Grand Ole Opry, singing his own songs as well as a cover of Merle Haggard's The Bottle Let Me Down. He later released a second album in June 2019 titled Reckless in Me, proving that music was not just a short experiment but a serious passion. Yet life did not remain calm forever. On January 12, 2026, shortly after midnight, another troubling incident occurred. A rideshare driver near Sunset Boulevard and Fairfax Avenue reported that Kiefer entered his vehicle but became upset when the driver refused to make an early stop. According to reports, Kiefer threatened the driver, who became frightened and ran from the vehicle. Police later arrested Kiefer and charged him with felony criminal threats, which was more serious than many of his previous charges. He posted a $50,000 bond and waited for a February court date. Although no physical injuries were reported, the news quickly spread because it reminded people of his long history of legal trouble. Looking back, his pattern of arrests stretched across decades. His first DUI happened in 1989. Another followed in 1993. In 2007, he served jail time. The 2009 headbutt incident added more damage to his reputation. The 2026 arrest felt like history repeating itself. At the same time, his acting career seemed less certain. Critics strongly criticized his 2025 Christmas comedy Tinseltown, calling it one of the weakest performances of the year. Meanwhile, there were discussions about possibly bringing back 24. Producer Howard Gordon even prepared a new story outline, and Kiefer spoke hopefully about returning to the role that had defined much of his career. Kiefer Sutherland's life shows a powerful contrast between success and struggle. He achieved enormous fame, wealth, and respect as an actor. He built a music career and earned awards that many performers only dream about. Yet personal challenges and repeated legal issues continued to follow him. His story reminds us that talent and success do not automatically solve deeper personal battles. Behind every famous name is a human being trying to manage pressure, expectations, mistakes, and growth.